Laura Knight's Cassiopeian experiments, often associated with the Cassiopeia material, involves the exploration of consciousness, spirituality, and the nature of reality. Through various methodologies, including channeling and psychic experiments, Knight and her collaborators sought to communicate with higher intelligences, particularly a group of entities referred to as the Cassiopeians. The primary aim was to gain insight into the metaphysical questions, the nature of existence, and human development. The experiments included multi-session discussions that cover topics like multidimensional realities, free will, and the influence of higher dimensional beings on humanity. Knight recorded these sessions, which often contained profound philosophical and esoteric insights, and these records became part of a larger body of work that aimed to explore consciousness beyond conventional scientific understanding. The overall tone of the experiments reflect a blend of skepticism and deep inquiry into the nature of consciousness and our place in the universe. Laura Knight began her communication with the Cassiopeians in 1994. She is still in communication with the Cassiopeians to this day. If you would like a better understanding of the Cassiopeians and their impact on humanity, I would highly suggest checking out the Wave series by Laura Knight, the Cassiopeian Forum, which a link will be provided in the description box below, or purchasing the book that I personally am reading from that contains all of the transcripts and conversations between Laura and the Cassiopeians. The Cassiopeians base the soul's evolution and consciousness on the spiritual template known as the Law of One. The Law of One is also known as the raw material. It is a series of philosophical texts that emerged from a series of channeling sessions conducted by Carla Rucker, Don Elkins, and Jim McCarthy in the early 1980s. The sessions involved channeling a consciousness known as Ra, who claimed to be a collective of extraterrestrial beings from the sixth density. The key concepts in the Law of One are unity and oneness. The central tenet of the Law of One is that all beings are fundamentally interconnected and are expressions of the same universal consciousness. The phrase, "we are all one," encapsulates this idea, emphasizing that unity is the essence of existence. It also covers the densities of existence. The material describes the cosmos as composed of multiple densities or levels of existence. Each density represents a stage of spiritual evolution, with humans currently experiencing a third density, which is characterized by lessons in love, understanding, and most importantly, making choices. We also seek to understand in the Law of One soul evolution. According to Ra, souls undergo a process of evolution through these densities, learning and growing through various incarnations. The choice between these paths influences one's spiritual evolution and the experiences one encounters in life. There's also discussions of the role of free will. Free will is considered sacred, and individuals are encouraged to explore and make choices regarding their spiritual development without interference from higher beings. If you would like more information on the Law of One, please make sure to check out the material for yourself. A link to all resources will be posted down in the description box below. But for now, let's get on with the show. And before we get into the episode today, guys, just a quick thank you to all of our patrons and our producers here on Esoteric Atlanta. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible. This channel is a total grassroots effort. If you would like to help support the channel, there is a link in the description box below to our Patreon account. All right, you guys, welcome back to our exploration of the Cassiopeian material. Hopefully this one will be more of a fun one today. As you guys know, I've said I'm kind of going through and just typing in keywords just to see what comes up. And I typed in vampire today and a few of them popped up, but I've gone back again to an earlier reading to look at some of Anne Rice's books, or a little segment on Anne Rice. I enjoyed Anne Rice's books growing up. So I hope that you enjoyed this particular forum. Again, all the links will be down in the description box below so you can look through it yourself as well. Now, a couple of things before we get into this reading today. Listen, like the Cassiopeians promote us networking with each other. Like sometimes they'll give like a vague answer and they'll tell you to like talk amongst yourselves so that we figure it out for ourselves. Even though they're here to help, they're not going to like do it for us, which is actually the definition of helping, right? Helping, you're not doing it for somebody, you're giving assistance so that they can do it for themselves. With that being said, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. So, and opinions are always subjective, right? They're not objective. And we always come to our opinions based on our own life experiences, our own levels of awareness. And so, opinions are always welcomed here, but understanding that they are just opinions, right? In my opinion, there is value to the Cassiopeian forum. That is why I'm sharing it with you guys. You don't have to find value in this. I do. I'm a student of the law of one, which is the template the Cassiopeians work off of. So what they say makes sense to me, and I actually quite like it when the Cassiopeians say something or disclose something that totally conflicts with my original thoughts on a subject, because then that forces me to have to sit with it for a moment. That forces me to have to re-examine my own attachments to my own thoughts, okay? So with that being said, I've gotten a couple of comments where people get very offended if their opinion isn't taken seriously. Your opinion is taken seriously, but just because it's your opinion doesn't mean that people are going to agree with you. And when we experience the friction of disagreement, that's when we get the light, right? That's when we start to figure out, possibly get closer to the truth and network. That's part, disagreeing and conversing is part of networking. Okay. I also want to make it very clear. I got a very concerning comment that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I want to just bring this to people's attention. On this channel, for me specifically, I am very actively trying to be very settled into my service to others path. I would like to go service to others. I've already seen what service to self has to offer being a human on this planet at this time. I don't really want it. I would rather try my luck with service to others. So with that being said, with the law of one, there are some principal concepts. So to believe that there is a chosen people, or to believe that somebody is better than somebody else strictly because of genetics, that is service to self. In service to other, which this makes sense to me. Like this makes sense to me. Service to others, every single human being on the face of the earth is special. We're all equally special. And we all have an ability to connect to the divine. So I had somebody leave a comment, an opinion about something, which really wasn't my opinion or the Cassiopeian's opinion. And this person got upset because I wasn't just taking her opinion at face value, because she claims that she's a Native American, so therefore she has a knowing that I guess I don't as a white person. That's racism, and that makes me uncomfortable. And I just want to like reiterate that regardless of whether you're white, brown, black, whatever, purple, red, whatever you classify your race as, if you are breathing in oxygen right now, you have a knowing. If you have a soul, you have a knowing. Your genetic makeup means nothing to the connection to God. Your genetic makeup is just your karma. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just your karma. So I just want to clarify that. That makes me very uncomfortable, because if you are a Native American or somebody from an indigenous, we're all indigenous. Like we're all indigenous. We all are. And you feel like because you come from some culture that is perceived by the public as being woo-woo, that therefore your opinion should be of more value than somebody else's. I think you need to step back a little bit and have some self-reflection. Just because I'm white does not mean that I don't have a connection to God. Trust me, I do. Trust me. And I will be glad to listen to anybody. I don't care where you come from. If it's your opinion, express your opinion. People might not agree with you, but your opinions aren't you. They're just opinions, just thoughts. I also want to reiterate something that I've known for a while now, and I think the Cassiopeians are doing a really good job in talking about is sometimes when we think we're channeling, we're really just in our imagination. And I've known this for a long time. And I think it goes back to, this idea. I've spent 19 years studying yoga. And the whole concept, the whole crux is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Like basically don't believe your thoughts. Your thoughts are just split-second reactions to something you're perceiving, and they're basically not the truth. And I think when you're aware of that, when you're aware that your thoughts are not really real, and you're doing work like channeling, you become a little bit more you have more discrimination, more discernment with what you're receiving, because you're filtering it through an awareness that it's not a channeled being, if that makes sense, that it's just your thoughts. And that's why it's really important. When I first started talking about this, we kind of went through the history of Laura Knight and like all the work that these people did to be able to channel. It's always important that you're not by yourself, that you have a group with you, because there's so many things that can go wrong, and there's so many trickster spirits out there that can trick you. And so I would also beg you that if you do struggle with your ego, like there are people who do struggle, who are aware that they struggle with their ego, they have a need to be special. Channeling might not be for you at this moment. If that is something, that's my opinion. If that's something that you are struggling with, if you have a hard time with humility, then you might not want to channel right now, because the darkness will use that as an opening to manipulate you in hopes that you manipulate somebody else. Okay? If you have a yearning to be special, if you think for some reason that by the grace of God, you were born to a particular race or a particular ethnicity or culture, and that therefore that makes you special, I would beg you to consider stepping away from channeling. You can be proud of your heritage. I'm very proud of my heritage. But just because I'm proud of my heritage does not mean that I think my heritage is better than somebody else's, or that I don't honor somebody else's heritage too. My heritage as a white woman in America does not mean that I think I'm better than somebody in Russia or wherever. Yeah, you can be proud of yourself with not making yourself better than somebody else, because if you feel the need to be better than somebody else, that's a you problem. And you're in delusion if you feel that, because if you were in truth, if you had done your own spiritual work, you would know that regardless of what your circumstances are, you are valuable and special in God's eyes. And so therefore, you wouldn't feel the need to lift your leg up and piss on somebody else to make yourself feel better. All right. So please, no racism on this channel. Please, no getting offended if your opinion isn't taken seriously, especially if you have no evidence to back your opinion. We don't practice censorship. We don't want that. We want all ideas out there, even the bad ones. So don't try to censor others if they just happen to disagree with you. Okay? All right, so let's get into it. As I told you guys, let's see here. I typed in vampires, and so this is what we got. We've got multiple ones, but this one looked quite fun. So we're going back to 1994, session 31, December 1994. So we've got Frank, Laura, Terry, Jan, DMV, and many others. New Year's party is in process as we sit at the board. Good Lord, have mercy. I haven't been to a New Year's party in so fucking long, you guys. Like, that sounds like hell on earth to me. When I lived in LA, and I was with this musician for a while who was always like at these like LA music parties, he would always talk about Halloween and New Year's was amateur hour. Like, that was when the amateurs came out to play. Because when you're in the music industry, basically what was the schedule? Let's see if I can remember. He would wake up at noon and go to bed at 4 a.m. Because your schedule is basically you work the most at night. And so when you're in the music industry, you're around a lot of like bars and venues. And so they have a lot of alcohol, right? And so they're used to it. And he would say Halloween, New Year's Eve, you never want to go out because that's amateur hour. That's when people who don't know how to drink responsibly go out. And so, but now for me, like, I know that January 1 really isn't the real New Year. And I get up super early in the morning. So I haven't actually celebrated New Year's in a very long time. So anyway, sounds like hell on earth for me. All right, here we go. Hello, hello. Did you get last message? Yes, the last message was we are happy to see more people here. Answer, yes, say hello to M and Billy, Luann, Glenn, and others. We have visitors in ethereal planes because of holiday get-together, and we brought 4 here because it's time for exposure. Terry, keep up. This is the night for important stuff. They actually really like Terry. This might be the first time Terry's been in one of our readings. As you guys know, I've read a lot of these readings. Some I won't. Some aren't really necessary to bring to the channel. But I've noticed they really like when Terry's there. Terry's a guy. They really like Terry. Okay. Who needs to be on the board? You asked for Terry. Can I trade with DM? Okay, now DM. DM hi. So Terry and DM are on the board. Answer, ease up on pressure. Very important this time. Measurement year represents big changes. Changes of what sort? Spiritual link to physical on planet. I guess you're going to tell us? Terry on board. Keep fingers on it. Terry, it's hard. You're moving so fast tonight. Energy's up. Apparently they move really fast. Power is explosive. Many spins around the board. Well, happy new year to y'all too. We want you all to succeed this year. In what? To send messages. Thank you. DM, easy on pressure. So these 2 guys who normally are on the board are actually on the board. And so the Cassiopeians are trying to coax them on how to work the board. You guys are moving so fast tonight. We have to hang on. DM, I'm just trying to keep up. You're correct. Are you guys ready for a couple of questions? Okay. This right here, I picked up at the Tampa Metaphysical Bookstore. Holds up a rock. It's supposed to be a piece of meteorite. What can you tell me about this? I was told it's used for transformation. Answer, bogus. Bogus. You got played. Bogus. Question. It's funny that word came into my mind. We are going through you and Frank tonight. Easy DM. DM sell house this month. Can you give me a day? 19th drop price by $2,000. I can live with that. You got it. Should I drop it or dicker it? Drop it now. I don't know what that means, you guys. So tell me if you're in real estate what that means. Okay, so I want to go back though to this meteorite business because Todd actually did talk about this in the last episode over on the Esoteric Academy. Basically, any type of rock that you buy from like a metaphysical store is already corrupted because it's changed hands with so many people. The best type of rocks and crystals to buy for yourself are the ones that you specifically find out in nature. Now, there are ways to rebalance these rocks, like you can put them in the freezer overnight or put them in running water. Do not put them out in the moonlight. Do not do that. That will negatively charge your rocks, okay? For more information on that, it's on the Cassiopeian transcript. You can look at it for yourself, or you can go to the Esoteric Academy and listen to Todd talk about it. But I know that's in vogue right now. It's in vogue to put your rocks out in the moonlight. Do not do that. Do not do that. That's corrupted information. Put them in the freezer to balance them or put them in running water. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's ask about this letter. I received a letter in the mail today that is really perplexing us all. Can you tell me what this letter is about? Third party got a hold of privileged information. Who is this third party? Amos Sanders. So this this is private stuff they're talking about. Is it privileged information? No. Consortium. What is the intent of this letter? Third party got your bio off files. What files? Computer grid. What computer grid? 3-letter agency. So a lot of times they don't really like you asking about personal questions. They'll kind of scold you sometimes. The only times I've learned that they allow you to ask personal questions is if the information is going to help another person. So this person got this letter in the mail that was very perplexing. It had private information. The Cassiopeians are saying that this dude, this Amos guy, got it through the 3-letter agency website. Has this letter been set up by the 3-letter agency? No. Amos Sanders broke into the system. Now, this is 1994. So even though the 3-letter agencies did have computers, most of us didn't in 1994. We were still learning this. So I can tell how this would be more stressful in 1994 than perhaps today. So V asked, how am I mixed up in this? T asks, who is Amos? DM, maybe it's an acronym. New license. So she says, I just got a new license in November. A driver's license? Yes. Is this the DMV computer system? Answer again is the three-letter agency. Why is V in the three-letter agency computer system? You all are on file. I'm sure we're on file too, you guys. To the three-letter agency guy that's watching me, I know you're bored because this is what I do all day, right? I practice and then I WALK, my DOG, I can't say that's a trigger word. And I, go to the grocery store. So I know you're bored, but hopefully this is entertaining to you for my agent that's watching me. Is that you all, as in everybody in the country, or just us specifically, you and others? Well, what course do I need to contact? The police? What course of action do I need to take with this? This is fraud. Ignore it. Is this letter a setup? No, Amos is nuts. Crazy genius breaks into files. The guy mentioned in the letter is Wilbur, false name. So this is in no way, this is not a threat to me financially or in the future legally wise, somebody, but you are on the three-letter agency file. Why is she on the three-letter agency file? Because I know too much? Piano. Terry and Laura, piano? I have a piano debt. Why would that be on my three-letter agency file? What? Is there a warrant out for my arrest? Why do they have her on file for a debt for a piano? Tracer. They know all and keep track of everyone and everything. Is there more to this than just the general tracing of debt in license accessed by a nut? Not yet. Well, why, besides the debt, would they be interested in watching her? Your activities. In specific, metaphysical. So all of us, Lord, guys, like, save me, Jesus. Lord, bless our hearts. 2025. 31 years later, I bet you every single person watching this right now, you're being watched. So am I. So makes life interesting, right? Like what's that saying? If you weren't doing something that would have gotten you executed by the church 400 years ago, are you really living your life? So cheers to us, right? The three-letter agency is watching people who are involved in metaphysics and UFOs. Well, they always watch us UFO people. Are they watching people like Eddie Page? Eddie Page, file 1. What is a file 1? Top priority. Well, let's hope my file is 200. What priority is my file? 4. What is a level 4 file? 4th most important. Well, what about Frank? Is Eddie Page telling the truth? Some. What is he not telling the truth about? Too many things. I don't know who Eddie Page is, you guys. Let me just look quickly. That might be a friend of theirs. Sometimes they speak about friends of theirs. And then I go to look it up and it's like, who is this guy? I don't know. It's just a friend of theirs. Eddie Page. I don't see anything about like a ufologist or anything like that that would cause that might be one of their friends. So, but this is 1994. So tell me if you know who Eddie Page is, if I'm just missing it because I was 11 in 1994, but I think that's one of their friends. So his story is mostly false, he believes. Are these three-letter agency files that have to do with the metaphysical and UFO business and what have you, are they more than just government? Are they connected to? Are you listening? Am I listening? Of course I'm listening. Three-letter agency tracks everyone. Okay, so just don't worry about it. I can just imagine what my file looks like. The computer systems are so advanced, it's no trouble for them to even know what color toilet paper you buy. I mean, the checker at the store tells what color toilet paper you buy on your receipt. V prefers green. Do you prefer green? Yes, but I have white. Are you telling me I'm supposed to use green toilet paper? They are perfecting third level human at fourth level. Answer, joke. You're getting good at it too. I'd like to know what they look like. Did you read the transcripts? We already asked that. No, I haven't gotten to it yet. We are light beings. We are you in the future. Susanna K talked to me about Al Bielek. Previously, you had said that Al was an agent of the government disseminating disinformation for one thing. Number two, that he knew he was an agent of the government. There's a little confusion about his participation in the Philadelphia Project. I have found a reference to him in an Ivan Sanders book published some time ago. Suzanne says that this poor guy just lives from hand to mouth, and she finds it hard to believe that he is an agent of the government since he lives such a poverty-stricken existence. Could you comment, please, on Al Bielek and his activities? Is Al an agent for the government? I'm probably saying his name wrong, guys. Let me know. I don't know who this person is. Obviously, again, 1994, a long time ago. He's many faceted. Poverty is subjective. Is he an agent for the government? They say he's many faceted. Yes, but he is involved in activities. In one session, you talked about Al Bielek. You indicated he was not actually involved in the Philadelphia experiment, that he was a technician on shore, and that he's now feeding out information that is provided to him, or that he had knowledge above and beyond his involvement with the experiment. Close. Okay, if he is working partly with the government and then partly for his own purposes, what is it that he expects to get out of this? Exposure. What does he want from exposure? He wants people to know. Is it possible that he is giving out some information along with disinformation so that the information itself can be gotten out? Could it be that his intentions might be confused thought pattern? Is that my thoughts or Al's thoughts? Bingo, Laura's. Does Al know that he is giving out false information? Does he know that the information the government is giving him is false? He is so involved, you would not believe. He is involved with the government cover-ups, with all of it. He knows that what he is saying is false, but he has no choice because he is entangled in the web. They are using him. Laura, ask about this letter Suzanne sent from some source that states Jesus was a mythical character. No, Jesus was not mythical. What about the information from Acharya, Babel? What is the point of this stuff? It is very well done. Why are they trying to prove that Jesus never existed? Nonsense. It's disinformation. Disinformatia, Ruski. This is from Russia. No, we're having some fun with words. Are any of the people they are copying this to believe this stuff? Some. Is the UFO library going to print this? Who knows? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it were in there next month. There's a lot of garbage in there each month. Well, this is on a different subject, but has M ever been abducted by aliens? Yeah, starting at age 3. Do you remember Ghost at the corner of the window at 3 years old? I remember something very vaguely. I think I told Frank the story. Something happened, and I think I woke up screaming. I saw something. When was the last time? At age 22. How many times has M been abducted? 23 times. Will I be abducted again? Yes. When? It depends on belief center. I think it might depend on how much knowledge you acquire as to whether you will be abducted again or under what circumstances. Grandfather let you in on secrets of life. Yes, he taught me a lot, and I think that's what they mean. He was a priority one soul. What is a priority one soul? One who sacrifices life's pleasures to teach others. He was your teacher. You are lucky, M. He kept you from trouble. Who abducted M? Grays. What was the purpose of M's abduction? To study his mind. He has a very strong mind and resolve. Did they put an implant in him? Yes. And what do they do with that implant? Is monitor. Frequent ringing in ears signifies monitoring activity. Do you have frequent ringing in your ears? Yes. One ear more than the other? Yes, it's kind of a tone. Last session when I was here, you were giving us information on how to calculate when the wave is going to reach Earth. I was able to plot 2 of the 4 for distance, but 2 were constellations. I cannot plot those distances. Check third most distant star in Cassiopeia and middle belt star in Orion. Closest star in Leo. Welcome M to the board. Well, just tell me what to do. Hi, M. We are glad to have you here with us tonight. We have been trying to reach you for 18 years as you measure time. Why? You are destined just like the others, and you know it inside. We've gone to great lengths to reach you. That is why you were brought together with Frank. Do you not remember feeling different back then? What does that mean? Well, when you met Frank, did you feel different? Yes, I guess so. Anybody who meets Frank feels different. Amen. Thank you. I would like to point out that we all have male energy on this board. This is different. You and Terry knew each other in a last life. Remember? Well, I don't. You would probably remember if you would start meditating. You could do past life regression. He wasn't that guy that got me with the sword when I was in the British Navy, was he? Those cutthroats? No, But on the same ship, this is why you returned to England. Why you returned to England? Were they brothers? No. M was born in England. That you returned to sea. You love water. I'm confused. So M and I knew each other in our past life. When was this? 1700s. We didn't have any other lives between 1700s and now? Not for M. He was a sea captain with the same last name. You, M, are your great-great-great-grandfather, Simon, redacted. Break for New Year. January 1, 1995, continuation of December 31, 1994 session after break for New Year celebration. Who do we have with us tonight? Cassiopeia calling Sorona. And who are our guests? You must network tonight as there are those who are waiting your messages as promised. Do you mean do the board and transfer it to the network? Open. Have you promised somebody else that you would work through that we will? No, we promised on the network. You did. Frank and I promised that we would channel online. Yes, we logged on and made the announcement, and the next day I had the wreck, an auto accident. I had been promised that my life would change suddenly and dramatically. It is. My life has changed. Yes, in process. We want to know who the etherical visitors are tonight, and have they left since all this noise started? So they have Ghost basically with us. Mary, Laura, John, Ruth, Terrence, Todd, Vance. There's a Ronald. Is Laura someone who is related to me? Grandma. Does anybody else recognize any of those names? I recognize John, my uncle. Are each one of these names like guides for each one of us? No visitors. Attracted by energy center. Have I had contact with John before? Yes, uncle. Am I related to my uncle that's just passed on? Yes. Is Terry related to any of these people? Yes. Who? Vance. Who is Vance? Do they have a message for us? Who is Vance? Great uncle. Do any of these people have messages for any of us? No. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was surrounded by a smell of yes. It was my Uncle Wayne. Yes. His name was John Wayne. Has Redacted ever been abducted? Yes. When was she first abducted? Age 2. How many times? 59. Redacted V and Laura. You got the record. How many were physical? Not correct thinking pattern. In a sense, they were all physical. How many of these abductions were virtual reality abduction? Everything is that. Well, how many of these level 1 abductions? 9. How many were alpha state abductions? 2 weeks ago felt tingle. Well, 2 weeks ago was in the middle of the party at the bookstore in Tampa. Okay, was Luann ever abducted? Yes. How many times? 17. No way. When was the first time? When lived in the red house. Did you ever live in a red house? Yeah, we lived in a brick house. How old were you? When I was 5. Answer 4. We moved there when I was 4, right before I was 5. Does she have an implant? No. Does D have an implant? She has 4. Has 4 implants? Yes. Where are they? In brain. In her brain? I had a lot of allergies. What is their purpose? Monitor. That's what they all are, monitors. But why? You are aware. They want to monitor you because you are aware. They don't have cable. Is Susan going to be here shortly? Open. We want to know what kind of energy is behind Bud Hopkins. Divergent. Is he on the right track in his research? Halfway. Is the Linda Cortile case a setup to discredit him? No. Everything she says really happened to her in 4th density. Well, all the abduction stuff was in 4th density, but being pulled out of apartment from the 17th floor or wherever it was and being sucked up in a beam of light, that actually happened to her in 4th density. How did people in 3rd density see it? Only those who were tuned in saw it. Were there people there who did not see it? Yes. What or who were some of the people who did not see it? Not important. Now, Whitney Strieber. Can implants be removed? No. What is the energy fueling Whitney Strieber and his work? Grays. I don't know who this guy is. Am I saying his name right? Let's look him up, because that does not sound like he is a friend of theirs. Let me just double check that, you guys. Oh, yeah, no, he's not a friend of theirs. Oops, sorry, guys. Let's see here. Sorry for that sound. That's my computer processing another video. Okay. So Whitney Strieber. I really hope I'm saying his name right. Okay. Hopefully Hopefully this is the same guy. He was born on June 13th, 1945, is an American writer best known for his horror novels, The Wolfen and the Hunger, and for Communion, a nonfiction account of his alleged experience with non-human entities. Yes, this is the right guy. He has maintained a dual career of author of fiction and an advocate of metaphysical concepts through his best-selling nonfiction books, his Unknown Country website, and his podcast, Dreamland. Early life and education. So he's from San Antonio, Texas. Let's see here. Stryber states that he was abducted from his cabin in upstate New York on the evening of December 26, 1985, by non-human sentient beings. He wrote about his experiences and related experiences in Communion in 1987, his first nonfiction book. Although the book is perceived generally as an account of alien abductions, Stryber draws no conclusion about the identity of the alleged abductors. He refers to the beings as the visitors, a name chosen to be as neutral as possible, to entertain the possibility that they are not extraterrestrials. Neurologist Stephen Novella remarks that the details of Whitley's tale of waking up seemingly paralyzed fits the description of hypnagogia, a fairly common neurological phenomenon that has been mistaken for some for an intervention by demons or aliens. I think that means sleep paralysis. Okay, so that's who they're speaking about. So let's go back to the board. Let's see here. So the Greys are what's visiting Whitley Stryber. We know the Greys were created by the Lizzies to do their dirty work. So he is an agent of the Greys, no, an instrument of the Greys. So all his writing is comprised by the Greys, influenced by them. Well, he says that too. Well, he now thinks as he learned how to be a companion of God through these experiences. Wolfen reflects Lizzie reality. That's not good. That's fourth density negative. Who's read the book? What's it about? I saw the movie but never read the book. I can't stand his gothic style of writing. I can't stand to read his stuff earlier. I only got halfway through Communion and gave it up. Well, let me ask, while we're on the subject of writing, is Anne Rice channeling her concepts in her vampire book? She is also influenced by the Greys. I like Anne Rice books. I didn't like that answer because Anne is one of my favorite authors. What about Stephen King? Cardinal influences. No, Stephen King's just fucked up. He stopped being influenced by anybody but himself. He is writing from his co-join day. Okay, Terry. Are there any further comments, or do you want us to go online now? Yes. Break, lively discussion. Someone mentions to V that she projects a lot of sex energy from her lower chakra. V, do not be offended. We are all learning. Well, thank you so much for the honesty from everybody in the room. I mean, I really appreciate it. V, I've never gotten that. I've never had somebody. That's so awkward. If somebody, I mean, maybe if a man I was attracted to told me that, that wouldn't be awkward. But to have your friends tell you that would be a little awkward. I wasn't being honest. Don't blame me. What chakra level is G redacted operating at? Chakras are like escalators. You choose your steps and rise accordingly. Well, I was hoping they would give me a number. I don't know much about chakras. Learn. The whole thing is that we're supposed to learn for ourselves. They will point us in the right direction, but then we are supposed to go in and out of it. Go out and do it. Sorry. Then we're supposed to go out and do it. If you don't learn it on your own, you don't really learn. You have to go out and fall off the log a couple of times to learn to walk the log. Absolutely. E just told me about something that happened. Can you give me some insight? Imagination. Are the boys fine? Are the boys okay? Boys will be boys. They thought they saw a witch. Who was she? It was the neighbor lady. Where was she and what was she doing? What do you mean over a car? What do you mean over a car that just started? Their imaginations are just going. How do peyote users see Santa Claus? Laughter. Are the boys doing drugs tonight? Nope. Never. Bingo. What kind of smacks of Franks? When did you ever see this Half Moon Bay? V. Where do you think Frank is getting it from? Aren't we all being enlightened? Is this Frank is channel? Others are grooving rapidly. Others of us? Yes, forming conduit. You were real happy to see all of us here together this evening. Yes. Can we look forward to greater groups and greater gatherings as the year progresses? Yes. It will reach a point where there's too many people? No. It's like a community gathering, a society, a conduit. If I'm not supposed to be at home shopping, employer, where am I supposed to be? Discover. Am I supposed to be doing another kind of job? Is there something entirely different that I'm supposed to be doing? Discover. Is he going to come to this awareness after he does some hypnotic work and processes? Open. With meditation and physical exercises, I can lift my chakras higher. Is that correct? Yes. Dedication? Yes. Is it all in what I perceive my purpose to be? Yes. Indicating this little plastic dinosaur. Do you like our little mascot here on the table? Okay. Do you have any messages us before we say goodbye? No. Good night. Thank you very much. End of session. So that was kind of a fun one, guys. I read that one and I thought they were in a jovial mood. The Cassiopeians were in a jovial mood. So I hope that starts your Monday off in a jovial mood. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and we will speak to you all very, very soon.
So close to heaven.